Hello everybody, welcome back to Succeed with Omid. Today I'm going to be talking a lot about the chest and why we actually shouldn't be stretching it as much as some people like to think you should. This chest muscles themselves, the big one through here, is not really the one that most people get too tight. That one tends to push the shoulders forward through here just like I'm pressing through. The one that most people talk about starts right about here and goes up this way out to the shoulder, that pec minor. Well, here's the problem. Yes, some people do have a very tight pec minor that pulls the shoulder forward into pad positions. We start getting this kind of forward head, kyphotic position if you want fancy words in the video. But what I want to talk about today is if the ribs themselves are in a bad position from abs being tight, from diaphragm being tight, I'm going to end up in that position anyways. I actually could be okay from the spine position up here, but now my shoulder relative to my ribs is actually forward, and stretching the chest won't get rid of this problem. And some people actually start stretching and rolling their chest and everything like that into a position of almost weakness because they don't address the stuff down here. So, solution's really simple. We find the common foam roller angel and we just start to learn how to breathe through that, which I'm going to show you in a sec. So just in case you've never heard of a foam roller angel, my tailbone's on one side of a very long roller, my head bone's nice and comfortable. And just take the feet wide just so you have balance. We don't really want to worry about balance left to right through this, although there's some variations where I'll take people's feet close together to get some CNS activation. But if I take my rib cage right here, and I just pick it up backwards, big arch through here, the chest tends to get into a more elongated position. And this is one of the reasons people tend to get back pain, is to get their chest long, they tend to arch their back. And the problem is if I flatten my back out, now my shoulders are up. And this is where most people tend to think, hey, listen, I need to stretch the chest. But what should happen, or at least you should have the ability to do, is if you flatten your back and relax your shoulders, everything gets further back. Problem is, if I start to breathe, you see my chest actually naturally goes up and back a little bit, which will actually decrease the tension on the shoulder, which feels good. And then as I exhale, my ribs start to come down and in. So, two problems. If I can't breathe all the way out, that starts to happen. I start to push my shoulders forward to press my chest in, to compress my lungs to breathe all the way out. So there's a lack of breathing strength. And the other problem is if my abs are too tight in the first place and they're holding my ribs down, you'll see my shoulders come up. If I relax backwards, or at least relax my abs, everything gets fixed. So number one solution is not always to go after these pec minor muscles up here with the foam rollers and compression bands and all sorts of stuff. It's really to go after all this stuff down here. You can make these harder by getting a stretch in the chest, and then I'll make doing all this stuff harder. But for today, I'm just going to keep my hands down here to kind of point what everything's happening. I breathe in through my nose, I exhale through my mouth. If I can, I'm going to breathe in through my nose and exhale through my nose, but it's easier just to go through the nose and out through the mouth. I'm going to take a big breath in, but I'm going to try and flatten my back a little bit. Don't smash the roller. I'm just going to flatten a little bit. I'm going to take a big breath in. I want you to feel the ribs not only come up, but out at the same time. Now, wherever your shoulders land when you do that, they are going to expand outwards a little bit. I want to actually get a little bit more stretch through that area to almost kind of use the pec minor to tack down backwards. And then I'm going to exhale really hard through my mouth. All the way out. That's going to do a number of things. One, with the shoulders pushed backwards a little bit, I am going to get a little bit of a stretch through my pecs, which is great news. But we also have these intercostal muscles here that will also be pulled on by the ribs coming down and my shoulders back this way. I'm going to get some serratus anterior activation through here, but I'm also going to, more importantly, as the lungs get pushed upwards and out as I'm breathing out, my diaphragm is going to get pulled up and in. I'm really going to get a good stretch through all that sort of stuff too. The other thing that's also going to happen, you'll see my ribs are up this way, and as I breathe out, my lower diaphragm pushes that way. And I'm really going to start to get some good stretching through here. I give this to people sometimes and they start to hear all sorts of gastrointestinal stuff that's moving around through here just because they've been stuck in this position for so long that it's almost like they have a brick here and nothing's really moving through this area. So once again, if I just open my shoulders a little bit, press my back flat a little bit, inhale big, use that stretch to tack down the shoulders a little bit more. I'm still pressing down a little bit, and then I exhale, trying to keep my ribs big. You'll get all of those stretches through here, and it'll help that posture. The last thing I'll say about this is that 90% of the time, if somebody's got forward shoulders, you really can't just look at the chest. You have to look at the entire body through this. Sometimes the pelvis is adjusted forward and they're falling into things, so their abs are trying to hold them up a little bit too much. Sometimes it's going to be up in the neck. I've got tons of videos on how to release those guys too. But long story short, nothing in the body works as a vacuum. You really have to make sure you're looking at everything in the body to make sure that you're assessing everything correctly and going after everything. Otherwise, what could be maybe like a week worth of a fix could turn into months and months and months. And unfortunately, I've met lots of people in gym settings and online that kind of run into that problem. So if you don't have a 36-inch roller, I highly recommend one. They're less than 20 bucks these days, and it's perfect for something like this. Otherwise, you can just do this kind of standing up, opening up the arms, and then trying to breathe through here, stretching all that stuff out, okay? That's it for today, guys. I hope this information was very helpful to you guys. As always, have a happy and healthy rest of your day. Talk to you next time.